How's it going, guys? Eric here, and today I'm going to be installing my brand new ARB awning, and I also purchased the awning room to go along with it. I've been wanting to get one of these for a while, so I'm pretty excited because frankly it's going to allow me to do more riding, which is what we're all after. I'm going to be able to go to even places, local mountains like Big Bear. I'll be able to camp out overnight and get a second day of riding without having to do twice the driving. I haven't really done a whole lot of camping in my adult life. I used to be in Boy Scouts, and I was in a troop that did a lot of camping. The scoutmaster that was in charge of that troop, he was a really hardcore camper, but hardcore to the point of basically being ridiculous. He was the kind of guy that if he could get away with it, he would just have a sleeve of saltine crackers and a shovel, and he'd disappear into the woods for 6 weeks, and he would come back happy as a clam. This type of camping is more about the riding, about these guys right over here. I want to be comfortable, quite frankly. So this awning room is, it's 4 sides, ceiling, floor. I'm going to go ahead and get a cot. I already have a nice sleeping bag. It's actually left over from my Boy Scout days, and believe it or not, it's still in pretty good condition, 30 years later. Just kind of halfway unboxed the stuff. Here's the awning room right here. I got these 2 brackets, and that's the awning itself. It comes in that heavy-duty cardboard tube. It's not super heavy, a little awkward when it shows up on the stoop, and you got to kind of fight through the house with it. I just got the 6-foot-long awning because I think that's the appropriate size for my Jeep. So I really only need these 2 brackets. I just got all of this off of Amazon. Went to Orchard Supply Hardware, picked up some bolts that I think will be the right size for these, and I'm going to see if I can get a good place to mount them on my rack.
It goes without saying to get the right size room to go along with your awning. I got the 2000 size. Also, take great care when you're cutting open your cardboard tube. Just take your time and make sure you don't cut into your awning while you're at it. Also, make sure you double check that you get everything out of the tube, including your stakes and guide wires and the instructions, before you go ahead and throw away that big cardboard tube.
Decided I'm going to put my awning on the passenger side of the Jeep here. It's kind of going back and forth about which side I wanted to have it on, but I figured with it being on the passenger side, one side of the awning room does open up, so you could actually have access to the inside of the vehicle. I actually saw one other YouTuber that drives a van. He put his on the passenger side so he could, from inside the room, he could open up the slider door of his van. So I figured with just simply either open the door here or sometimes take the door off altogether, I can kind of have the same benefit. So I'm going to put these brackets on here. I'm thinking I'll put them on something like this. Just brace right against here. I'm going to have to drill a couple of holes right over here, but that should give me plenty of security. This thing's will be being butted up against here, and maybe if need be I could also drill a hole straight through here, but that might interfere with the aluminum channel that's on the back of the awning itself. So I'm not going to do that yet until I know for sure how much room I'm going to have to work with. The other thing is I just want to make sure that the awning itself will be sitting out far enough so that when I put my room on, I know it's going to drape down over the side of the truck, but make sure it's not going to be bunched up too much. I don't think it'll hurt the room at all, but it'll just look sloppy. So I figure if I'm going to do this, I want to do it right? Alright, let's just bring up a little test fit here. So if I have those brackets right there like I had planned, it means the awning will sit right about like this, which I think will actually work pretty well. I do like the idea of it being a little bit tucked in as opposed to hanging way out on the side of the truck. So I think I'm gonna give this a go. I think I'll go ahead and drill those holes.
Yeah, I know cordless drill's not all that loud, so the ear protection is kind of overkill, but eye protection is definitely a must when drilling into metal.
Alright, so the installation of the brackets is relatively painless, other than dinging my finger on a sharp piece of metal. A little burr that was left over from drilling out the pipe there. Solid up there. I think spread out enough like that will be enough support for the awning. So if I need to add a third one, I'll just go ahead and buy one. They're about 20 bucks a pop. Alright, so I take a minute to go feed my dogs, so and also let the cameras charge up a little bit again. So about ready to put the awning itself onto the brackets. This would be something that's a lot easier if you have two people. I'm doing this alone, so I'm just going to support one end with a bungee while I get the bolts on the other end into position, and then go back and put everything together on the other side too. So the bungee would be a way to kind of give me an extra pair of hands.
The bolts fit into this channel at the back of the awning, and they slide around a little bit so that you can adjust it to wherever you need it. My plan is to get the awning up held on one end with the bungee while I get the nut started on one of the bolts on the opposite side, then put one in on the bungee side, and then sock everything down into place. Also remember that the channel on the back of the awning is aluminum, so don't go too crazy when you're socking everything down, because you could distort the aluminum and ruin your awning.
Alright, so I got the awning all bolted in, and I love the way that it looks. I think it's a really cool, just the look of it itself is very cool here. So I just moved the Jeep over a little bit in the driveway to give a little room. I want to just unfold it and see how it looks just with the awning out, and then maybe if I have a little time, maybe I'll start setting up the room. But yeah, so here we go with the big reveal. Should have taken the cross members out first. Live and learn, right? So I finally got it all set up here. Took me a minute. I got a little too excited, kind of unfolded it a little bit out of order. I was watching a bunch of other YouTubers that bought this, and when they went to go unravel it, before they unrolled it actually, they would take out the cross members first, unfold those, bring them out to full extension, so then when you unfold the canopy itself, you've got something there to connect into instead of fighting with it like I was. Took me a minute, but once I got all that squared away, it is indeed a pretty easy one-man job. And I gotta say, this thing is very, very cool. I can't wait to try out the awning room that will fit underneath here. I don't think I'm gonna have a problem with fitting it over my rack here and then have it draped down over the side of the truck. I don't think that's going to be a little bit of an issue. All I can think is maybe I might have to fold my mirror in a little bit, but that's about it. So I'm going to do the awning room in a separate video, kind of show you the setup I do with that. Of course, something like that is always going to be a work in progress, and as I use it more and more, you know, I'll have more ideas and different things. And if you guys have any suggestions on how to do this, this is kind of me starting to dip a toe into the overlanding Jeep thing, combining it with mountain biking. So it's kind of like two activities that kind of go hand in hand. So I'm pretty excited about putting this thing to use. So yeah, ARB awning, very, very cool. All right, till next time, guys, keep it full throttle.